Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining another episode of the Educational Leadership Podcast. We have another very special guest. And for those that are tuning in, we are interviewing superintendents and board members around the great state of Texas and now Oklahoma as well. We have Superintendent Bott from Santa Fe ISD with us today. Before we get into today's interview, we do want to give a shout out to our sponsor. Our sponsor, Ideal Impact, is giving hundreds of millions of dollars away in funding to public education. So if your district needs unrestricted funds for higher teacher salaries or whatever your district needs, reach out to Ideal Impact. Superintendent Bott, thank you for joining us today.
Great to be here. Appreciate the invite.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were just talking earlier about your podcast. You, obviously, if you have a podcast in your district, you're very innovative. You're doing some great things. So just for our listeners, they get to know you a little bit. Can you share a little bit about your background?
Sure. So, like a lot of superintendents, I started out as a teacher, classroom teacher. I taught language arts and just kind of worked my way up. Assistant principal. I've been a principal. I've worked in central office. Taught at Texas A&M, and being a superintendent is something I wanted to do for a long time. Just love to help kids, and the public education sector as a whole sometimes it gets politicized, especially in the past 5-10 years. We'll get pulled into political debates, and so you might see things on the news about masks or books or whatever. And I can tell you on behalf of every superintendent who runs a public school district in Texas and probably beyond, we come to work just wanting to help kids, and that's the bottom line. There's always going to be you know um, thousands of kids in your school district who are all raised differently and maybe don't all agree, but your educators are here to try to do what's best for kids and help them be successful, graduate, become successful citizens. And so that's really what we're about. That's my background, and everything I've done up to this point is to just help kids. I have 4 kids of my own. They're all students in Santa Fe ISD, and I say 4, 3 now. My oldest graduated 2 days ago, 3 days ago. So that was an exciting day. But nope, just love being a superintendent. Love being able to help kids.
Fantastic. It's interesting. And I guess a phrase I say sometimes is you can't put public education in a box because every superintendent we interview has something unique, right? Whether it's a small district or a big district, and there's a different focus. It seems like some districts they are really heavily into technology. Some are going the other way and saying, hey, we're actually going a little bit more old school and using textbooks and just because of that the opening the books and that interaction with the books itself. So I mean, every district there's positives there's so many positive things happening out there. Love to hear what's happening either at your district or maybe something you're passionate about in public education.
So a few things actually. I'm glad you asked. We've really tried very hard in the past probably 2 or 3 years. This is my 3rd year as a superintendent in Santa Fe, and as I'm sure you're aware, 6 years ago, in 2018, Santa Fe ISD suffered a horrible tragedy, and there was a school shooting at Santa Fe High School 6 years ago. And so when I came in 2021, there was almost this uh, I want to say a need for healing, like that everybody just kind of wanted to start over, and in a positive way. No one would ever want to forget what happened. No one would ever want to do any, always want to honor our victims and families. But sadly, we just live in a world where bad things can happen, and we have to find ways to navigate around it and move forward. And so you can't talk to anybody in the Santa Fe community that doesn't feel for those families and want what's best for those families, but also want to move forward and not be defined by it. And so we've got baseball teams going to the playoffs. We've got softball teams, volleyball. There's so many different organizations that we have being successful in district, continuing to move forward. And so what we want to make sure we do is provide every conceivable avenue for parents and community. I want to be very clear, not just parents, but parents and community to reach out to us and engage with us. And so our kids and our staff are going to be that much more successful if we're in partnership with our community. And that's one of the biggest things that we've tried to promote. And so we kind of joke with it. There's this we said it on our podcast several times the past few months. Our doors are open, our phone lines are open. Give us a call, come see us. We are wanting to partner with our local businesses. We actually have a volunteer program on every single campus where people can go through a background check and come help walk our halls, come help monitor things, and engage with our staff, engage with our kids. We want to partner with our community, but I actually have started a podcast myself. Every month we put out a podcast trying to just increase communication so people can come in and see the great things that are happening in public schools. But that also helps provide healing when everyone knows we're all in this together. We're all here to help each other.
I love it. Yeah, when I hear what's going on in these districts, especially with these community partnerships and business partnerships, I get jealous. I'm like, man, I wish I was still in school. I could do, because I remember when I was in school back in I graduated in 2000. It was, you're trying to figure out what you're going to do with this education, right? So you just learned all this stuff and you want to go to college but how are you going to apply it? So I think that's amazing. Curious on, you know, one thing that I noticed when I got out in the career world, business world, that there was a lot of careers that I had never heard of. I didn't even know they existed, right? Um,
Yeah.
so that it's just, and when I was a kid, it was like, hey, if you want to be successful, you want to be a doctor, lawyer, and engineer. That was that was kind of the pathway that you would take. But so curious. How do y'all determine kind of what focal areas to focus on, which careers? Are you kind of just looking at the local community? Are you looking at I mean, there's so many. How do you pick?
So I'm sure, like a lot of other superintendents, and with the high schools in their district and junior highs, we do student surveys. We reach out to the students to see what their interests are and what they'd be willing to do and what they'd be willing to participate in. And so the growing of our CT programming and career and technical education is such a huge thing right now in our public schools. We want to give kids every opportunity to pursue a career or any type of a pathway that would be interesting to them. And so we survey the students. We bring in multiple times a year. We have what's called our community roundtables, and so 3 times a year. Actually, this last year we did 4 times, but we bring in local businesses and we bring in parents. And we bring in folks that we know are actually going to be the ones that hire our graduates. And just basically ask, okay, what are you guys needing? What are you looking for? What are some of your gaps? And we try to make sure we're matching up what we provide with what our community needs and beyond. There's obviously going to be things outside of a smaller community like ours that we know kids will be interested in, be that a dental hygiene route or a pharmaceutical route. There's going to be things that maybe not aren't local in a smaller town, but kids might want to pursue. We still offer those, but at the same time, we want to make sure that we're partnering with our community and matching what they say. And it's fun and it's fascinating to listen to your local community businesses and leaders say, you know what, we really need more of this, or we really need more folks that understand, tech, website design. And we need more folks that can come in, eager and ready to communicate and understand, how to reach out to people on social media. They're saying things that they maybe didn't say even 5 years ago or 10 years ago. The world is just changing so much. But yeah, reaching out, like I said, I can't say the word partnerships enough in order to stress the answer to your question. We have to build partnerships with our community in order to help do what's best for our kids.
Love it. And it seems like that's a trend in these partnerships kind of in general with different school districts. And I imagine you probably go to a lot of conferences and training and that talk about this subject. I'm curious, have you seen much around like entrepreneurship? Because I don't know, I've always been fascinated by somebody that can, come up with an idea or try to solve a problem and go out there and just create it out of nothing. Did they talk about that, or is it more kind of, the first step of, is work for someone and then explore that route if
We probably do. It's probably going to more be surrounded a specific career pathway, because that's what obviously one of the things that the state's trying to get kids to do is figure out what they want to do. If a student says they want to be an entrepreneur, then we're probably still going to get them into a specific pathway or a specific career. That's not to say that they couldn't still be an entrepreneur. That's not a class in of itself, I guess,
yeah.
entrepreneurship. But No, we really want to try to find out what kids enjoy and what kids like to do. And so we start even at the junior high level. We've got CT classes at seventh grade and eighth grade, as young as that is, just to try to get kids to start to figure out what they like and what they want to do and what they're passionate about. It's important. So that's been fun though, and I can speak specifically to this because I've got I have an elementary kiddo, I've got a junior high kiddo, and I have two high school kiddos, or one now that one's graduated. And so I kind of watch my own kids as they go through this process. And so I've talked to my junior high student as he's coming home and participates in certain CT classes to see what he's interested in. And you kind of see that he, might enjoy maybe something a little more hands-on. Like I can tell he's going to probably be moving more towards welding or construction, or and maybe not so much something in the arts. And whereas my daughter's probably gonna be more towards the arts. And it's fun to watch their different interest levels and help develop that and pique their interest and get them excited and engaged about school. That's been really great.
Awesome, awesome. And do you ever see it kind of go the other direction where, let's say a student is really good in a certain subject, or it has a lot of potential, but maybe they don't know what they want. Does a counselor or someone ever get involved and be like, look, you really ought to think about this. This is the path. You're so gifted, and you're so talented in this area. And what are your thoughts around that?
I think it would just depend on the timing. A big shout out to every school counselor in Texas for just the workloads that they have. There's no every time we try to take two or three things off, we might see another two or three things put requirements from the state or something that they're having to navigate. But at the end of the day, again, they're just trying to help kids and build relationships. So they might pull a student in, say an incoming freshman, and this student knows exactly what they want to do, and they want to start a path, and maybe do a collegiate high school route, and they already know what they want. You got other kids who have no idea, and so they'll try to provide them a variety of different courses that say, okay, over the next year or two, try to figure out if you want to change. We need to try to get you to change quickly, but they're gonna build as strong of a personal relationship as they can with our students, and try to gear them as much as possible toward the right path. I wouldn't say that we would have a counselor try to put a student where they don't want to be. I don't think we see that very often, but sometimes if students just don't know and
Mhm.
have no idea, and it's into the sophomore year, and they're just kind of on this path that they were just kind of put on, and they're going to continue to work with them and talk with them and build relationships with them. But at this point in the junior high and high school realm, we're wanting to give kids as much of an opportunity to be successful and surround them with opportunities that they're going to enjoy. And so if a student doesn't enjoy class or isn't enjoying a certain pathway, we do try to encourage them to change that as soon as possible. But yeah, I think that our counselors are absolutely amazing people who love kids and want to do what's best for kids and try so hard to just get them on the right path.
Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. And you mentioned the testing and the requirements from the state and that sort of thing. Obviously, some of those requirements that they make sense, right? I mean, you test in math and reading, and these. I have three daughters, so I've I've experienced a little bit about that. Hopefully, we get our scores back soon. Hopefully, it all went well. But um, curious. So one thing I'm seeing kind of in the workforce is that wasn't happening 20 years ago, at least not to my knowledge. Was there's a lot more emphasis on these like personality profiles and like natural characteristics as a human, right? Outside of your knowledge in a certain area, because some people are just wired differently. Some have great ideas, some are more of an
Sure.
implementer. Um, the, early in education, is there ever any testing around that kind of stuff? Like, uh, hopefully you understand what I'm saying. Yeah.
I do. And the funny thing is, both of my high school kids have done their personality test. That's a big thing amongst the kids now. They all want to know what their personality is, and what's your strength, and what are you introvert, extrovert, or it's just it's really fun for them. But as far as us formally doing anything like that in our district, no, we don't at this time. I think that we get a feel for most of the kids. We kind of joke. I've worked at elementary, junior high, and high school, and I can tell you right now, in high school, they're the same kid they were in elementary. They're just older, or they're just bigger. Like they have the same almost person. Like their characters kind of their mannerisms and behavior, and even the way they talk. It's they're just we joke they're just bigger.
Right.
But for us to build as much relationship with these kids and figure out, what they like to do, you will find out very quickly which kids are going to want to be on stage performing, which kids are going to want to be behind the scenes doing video tech. And it's no, I can't say we've done personality testing, but we have worked very hard to make sure we get kids in courses and on pathways that is going to be beneficial for them, and then in a way that they enjoy. And that's something that I think sometimes gets lost in the news and in politics, is that we want kids to enjoy coming to school. No kid's going to say, "Oh yeah, I'm thrilled to go take that algebra test." That that's just not really good. Yeah, I'm really excited about my biology quiz tomorrow. I don't think you're going to hear that tomorrow or anytime soon, but what you might hear is, "You know what? I really love Mrs. Madden. I love my video tech class. I really love my floral design class. We're having to engage them in things that we know are going to be interesting to them, and then the things that we're required to teach, that they have to teach, that everybody has to know before becoming a successful citizen. No one may come out and say, "Thank you, public school, for maintaining the best curriculum you did for me when I was in high school, and thank you for providing structure and making sure that I was safe." Kids don't say that, but they all need it. And so we also want to provide what we know is a need to be valued, and a need to be appreciated, and a need to be respected. We want kids to feel welcome in our schools and enjoy coming to school. And so it matters just as much to us if a student isn't happy in a class or isn't happy on a path. It matters just as much to us if they're not happy there, if they're not happy with a group of students, or if they feel like they're being alienated or not feeling welcome. Both of those are just as important. We want every kid to feel valued, and we want every parent to feel valued. If I have a parent that'll call, or a community member that'll call upset about something, we want to help resolve it, and find a way to make things better. And so as a whole, I mean, I may not be specifically answering your question. I probably went off on a little bit of a route trail, but no, we don't do the personality part, but we just want kids to feel valued.
Makes sense. So a little bit of a leadership question here. And I imagine you see this with sports, right? On the athletic side for sure, where you have a coach that's just pushing. You're like, hey, I want one more lap. I want one more. And I mean, if you think about a personal trainer, you probably you see it with a personal trainer where they go out there and like one more rep. Put in one more rep. So they're challenging the person. I'm kind of curious. It sounds like there's some amazing listening going on kind of what do they care about, what do they want to achieve, what are their focus areas, which is awesome, right? Like all that listening. How much in public ed do you see around like the challenge piece of like because I know I think about my daughters, right? I got one that's 10, one that's 7, one that's 2.5. So the 10-year-old, she if you ask her, hey, do you want to go do this basketball camp or whatever? No, I don't want to do it. I'm scared. I don't know what. No, yeah, you need to do it, right? You need just go do it. And then she comes back and she's all excited about it. She's like, oh, I ran into this friend I know and that friend, and and obviously there's situations academically. It could be like a play at school where somebody's afraid to get up on stage, and you're like, come on, just give it a try or whatever. Uh, do you see much of that where it's like, look, this person has this talent here. Let me give them a little bit of a nudge to kind of get them out there. I mean, what are your thoughts around that? Just curious.
And I obviously very for that. We want to make sure we're challenging kids, and a lot of that really does boil down to culture. I'll use your athletic example. We had we have a new athletic director that we hired a couple of years ago, and one of the reasons we hired him was just because he was such a multi-sport athlete, coach, a multi-sport athlete guy. And so there's kind of this running joke that if you're playing basketball, you're going to end up running track, or half of you are going to end up doing weightlifting. Like our girls basketball coach actually went into the lunchroom finding his basketball girl, says, "Hey, how come you haven't signed up for track? Hey, how come you haven't run?" Like, they're trying to engage them in anything and everything that's going to continue to challenge them and grow them and have them be able to participate, in a variety of different modalities, because we want kids to be successful. And by doing that, you might find out that you like something else more, or you might find out that you're really talented in something else. So yes, we do work very hard to challenge our kids, but that kind of goes back to those pathways. If someone doesn't know what they're wanting to do or what they're interested in, we might put them in a variety of different things and say, okay, what after the year's over, which one did you enjoy the most? And colleges are starting to do that. So for business management, they might put you into, if you're, let's say you're an MBA, going to college, they might put you on in a course that's going to have, some business side, but also going to have some finance side and some marketing side. And then you start to figure out which one you like the most. We're trying to do the same. We want to give kids opportunities in different modalities, but also challenge them and find ways to draw out their best qualities.
That's great. I mean, that's amazing. And I think as adults, that's something that adults struggle with too, is like, I mean, you get to a certain point in your career, and you're like, what do you, and if they have clear direction and know exactly what they want to do, they could probably do anything. It's just,
Oh, sure.
they're pulled in different directions but that makes sense. And it sounds like you are providing a lot of clarity around that and guidance and support.
Well,
So
and I,
that,
I can't stress enough just how it's so funny because we live in this social media world. We live in this, everybody wants what they want and they want the answer right now, or they're going to make a comment on social media, they're going to read something in the news and respond to it. And and through that constant back and forth, a lot of times the truth gets lost, or the truth, or people don't always see it. And the truth is, and I'm sure you've seen on billboards, and I'm sure I'm going to sound corny, but it's the truth. There's great things happening in public schools. For every one or two negative things you might see on social media or in a news article, there are literally hundreds, and I mean hundreds, of amazing and positive things that are happening with kids at the same time that maybe aren't
yep.
reported, because every teacher, every counselor, every principal, everyone is working to engage a kid and help make sure that they feel valued, help make sure that they feel challenged, help make sure they feel successful, the things that you're talking about. And that's happening every single day. And so I've actually known and have close friends who have left education for be that a financial reason or a family reason or something. And it is shocking how many times they come back, because there's so much value in what we do. There's so much reward in what we do, and everything that we do. I mean, even at the highest level, when we're in a school board meeting or we're in a budget workshop, we're constantly asking the same question over and over again. It is a running question all the time. What's best for the kids? What's best for the kids? What's best for the kids? Everything we do is to try to help our kids be successful. And so I just wanted to plug that one last truth in there that make sure it doesn't get lost. Everybody's just working so hard to help our kids be successful.
Absolutely. And I don't think people realize the order of magnitude when it comes to public education, just how much is going on and how many good things are going on. I mean, in any organization, any group, you're going to hear some anomaly of, something, some things happen everywhere, right? But for the most part, uh, majority of things you're going to see from public education is amazing. And yeah, so last question here. This is a difficult one, so hope you're ready for this one. uh if you were to invite another guest to come on the podcast, if you were to invite a leader, maybe another superintendent in public ed to come on this podcast, who's the first person that comes to mind when I ask that question?
Oh gosh, I don't know if I could give you one person. That's tough. Uh, you know, I have watched so many principals and colleagues and fellow superintendents um, just continue to push forward, even though there might, like I said, even though there might be something out there that's misreported or something that may be negative, push forward and do so much positive. I, if you're looking for a name, I don't think I could give it to you. What I can tell you is every single superintendent, every single principal in Texas is doing what they can to help make sure our kids are successful, doing what they can to help make sure they're navigating, unfunded mandates or navigating, any type of confusion that may be out there in social media, and try to put the truth out there. They're all trying to make sure that people are hearing about the great things happening in our public schools. And I talked to a classroom teacher last week, amazing third grade teacher, and on her own time, stopped by one of her students' house to check on a sick aunt, because the aunt actually just happens to be the caretaker. Just wanted to stop by and check on that family to make sure that the student was okay, that the mom was okay, and offered to bring food, offered to do whatever she could do. and no one will ever know that. No one will ever know that those little things are are what our teachers and our staff does. And so if you're asking for one name or one person to bring on, I don't know if I could do that. I would encourage you that even our teachers are leaders. They set such a positive example for these kids. Yeah, to your point, when you said earlier, there's always mistakes and whatnot. Yes, we're all human. We all make mistakes, but our staff and teachers and we own that. We use it as teachable moments for ourselves and for our kids. And so I would say you're not going to go wrong inviting any public school leader or public school employee on to try to talk to you about what's going on with our kiddos. It's all worth it.
Absolutely. Love it. Okay. Well, for those that have been tuning in, thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned for future episodes. Before we close out, we do want to give one final shout out to our sponsor, Ideal Impact, giving hundreds of millions of dollars away to public education. Actually, I want to say they're closer to $1 billion now, but don't quote me on that. They've done some amazing things, unrestricted funds. So if your district needs additional funding and you don't want to wait on the state, reach out to Ideal Impact and stay tuned for future episodes of the Educational Leadership Podcast.